Hey guys, and welcome back to my second Halloween tutorial of 2018. So this is the inspiration for my look today. I found this on Pinterest, but I couldn't really find the person's profile who actually did it, but it's obviously like an artist. And to start off with, I'm going to start off with one side of my face. So the one that's kind of relatively more normal, I'm using my Nars Radiant Longwear foundation just in my regular shade, and I'm just popping that on with my damp beauty blender. I do also take it over the brows as well, which I later realised was a bit stupid because I was going to go over it with black paint anyway, so you don't actually need to do that. But I did, if you are going to cover your brows, you go over with like some cream paint or glue, then your foundation, and then just bake with some powder, just for future reference if you want to do it. But moving on, I'm just going to take some white cream paint. I do think it probably would have been better and easier if I'd have just bought kind of a white foundation. I know like certain brands do it. I think Kat Von D is one of the ones that does it in a Mascara, like places like that, just because it's a little bit more opaque. But I did just kind of go in and build this up a couple times, but if you did look up close, it was just a little bit streaky, so I would probably recommend a white foundation or a really pale foundation instead. But I'm just popping this on to the side, which is meant to be the more kind of dead skull looking part. And then I'm just taking my Kat Von D tattoo liner in the shade Trooper and basically just doing a kind of squiggly outline of like in between to kind of separate the two halves of my face, if that makes sense. Now taking my black kohl pencil in Feline from MAC, I'm just outlining the socket on the skull portion of my face. So I am actually using this little kind of cream paint set. I can't remember the name of it. I've literally had it for like a couple years now, and I'm using the black shade just to fill in that eye socket. And then taking the black eye pencil again, I'm just using this to tightline, and also I run it in my upper waterline as well, just to make sure that there's no kind of skin tone peeking through. We want it all to look really kind of black and dark. And then to set that all, I'm just taking this dark shade from the Jaclyn Hill palette, because if you're using any kind of cream paints, you really need to make sure that you set them, otherwise they crease, they slip and slide. Plus I'm oily, so it would just be a disaster. So you gotta make sure that you set all of that really well. Now I'm just cleaning up that socket a little bit because it's gone kind of a little bit faded on the outside, and I'm just using some white paint, and then using a little detailer brush and some more of that black paint, I'm just outlining our little petal kind of details that we've got going on around the socket. And then I do go back into the cream paint set, and this time I just took the purple shade and I use this to fill it in, so we've got little kind of purple petals going on our skull side. I kind of kept this side a lot more cool tone, just because, I don't know, I felt like if you've got like a skull vibe and you're dead, it's going to be pretty kind of cool tone, if you ask me. And then because I did kind of fade out the black a little bit more, I'm just going round again with the black paint just to define it even more. There was a lot of back and forth in this look, I'm not going to lie to you. And now I'm just going to outline the nose first before I fill it in. This is just going to be a very, very simple skull nose on this side, and then on the other side we'll do like a different type of skull nose because it's going to be a little bit more lifelike, I guess. And here I'm just filling it in with some black paint, but as you can see this looks relatively grey, so I do go back in later on with my NYX liquid liner, and I just use that as well. That is so hard to get off. And now using the same detailer brush and black paint, I'm just outlining the kind of skull that we're going to do on this side. Like, I was just going by what was on the image. You can kind of use that image for reference as well. I can always link it in the bottom bar below, but I was just going with that kind of vibe, and this is what I was outlining. It looks a bit crazy right now, but I swear it worked, and in the end it looked cool. Just drawing a line from my kind of lip, and this is where we're going to have the outline for our skull teeth. So we first draw a line out like this, and then for the teeth you just draw little vertical lines down and then kind of shade it and make it look a little bit more realistic. And I did go back and just edit this little bit right here that I'm doing just to make sure that it actually connected with the teeth. And then I do go in and shade it with the same black paint. I did realise as I was editing that a massive portion of this side of the face was not recorded, which is fabulous. So after this I do go in with quite a few details, which you will see in a second. So as you will see, I did little leaves, and I did a cobweb in kind of a red colour, and I did some little details in other colours as well. But going back onto the other side of the face, I obviously did the same kind of black socket, but this time I added this red shade from the Jaclyn Hill palette in a kind of like halo eye effect, because this side is going to be brought to life a little bit more. The other side is very much a kind of dead kind of skull vibe. We've got like a dead Day of the Dead side and a living Day of the Dead side. I can't even explain it, but you know what I mean. This is the vibe we're going for. And now I'm just taking some red paint from the little paint set, cream paint set that I've got, and I'm just outlining the petals and filling them in. And this time there is no black outline. I feel like this is more of the warm side, whereas the other side is more cool tone. You get the vibe that we're going for. And then I am just going over all of the teeth and everything, and I also do a black outline of my lips, because that's basically going to be kind of like my lip liner. I'm so sorry that you missed out on seeing the kind of teeth being done, but there are so many tutorials out there and it's actually super, super easy, I promise. And now taking a little bit of orange paint from my little palette, I'm just doing these little details. I'm kind of keeping it more kind of curly, if that makes sense. And then I'm just going in with my black eyeliner from Kat Von D and outlining this nose. And this one is a little bit kind of larger. It's just like two very different style of like skull noses. And I'm just filling it in with my NYX liquid liner, which is super, super black and matte and so hard to get off, by the way. And now I'm just going to go with my Juvias Place palette. This is the Zulu palette. And taking the bright purple shade, I'm going to shade this on the nose, just kind of how we've done with the red on the eyes. It just adds a little something. You probably can't see it on camera, but in person it really picks it up. And then just to highlight that and make it look a little bit more kind of realistic, I'm just taking a bit of the white paint just to highlight right in the center. And then taking this yellow shade again from the Juvias Place palette, I'm going to use this to shade kind of like cheekbones. I guess it's basically contouring this skull on the kind of living side. So it's just like, again, just adding more details and shading and like shadows, but just with color, because Day of the Dead is like super like colorful and a little bit different. And now I'm basically doing kind of like a cartoonish kind of brow, like very Day of the Dead-esque. And I'm doing these little dots as like details. And I go back into the palette and I pick up like, I think this was a blue shade, and then I go back in with the orange shade. And I just draw like little details here and there and just make it look a little bit more exciting, if that's the right word. And again, I'm just doing a little bit more shading. I kind of did the shading really randomly because I saw on the picture the artist had made it look like really cool. I think they used like watercolors and stuff, so it was very colorful, very kind of abstract, and a bit random. So that's literally what I did on my face. And I just used this little yellow shade also from the Jaclyn Hill palette, and again I just went over and did even more kind of shading, and I guess you could call it contouring, on this side of my face, just using a big fluffy brush. And next I just moved back to the other side, so you'll see me do a little bit of this side, and I'm again just picking up, I think this is a bit of the purple shade and the blue together, and I'm just again drawing little details here or there, and also just shading the inner portion of the socket because I just felt like it looked kind of cool on this side. And then just going back and forth, deepening up all of the black shades, because I guess where it was mixed with the white it went a little bit grey, so just going back and forth and just adding to make it a bit more pigmented. And then now I'm just really quickly speeding through the kind of skeletal spine thing that we've got going on the neck. Obviously just with white and black paint, pretty simple, nothing too crazy. And again, I'm just going with a little bit more shading this time with more of a grey shade, and just going over kind of the teeth on the skeletal side just to kind of bring them forward a little bit and just bring them to life. Like, I don't know, I'm so upset you guys didn't see me do them, but I did take my sweet time on them. And then I'm adding some lashes, these are Lilly lashes in the style Mykonos, just because, I don't know, I feel like they actually made a difference. Even though you can't see them that well, it just gives you just a little bit of something on the eyes. And then I do go in and, oh look, it's so cute, we're looking so cute. See, they do make a difference, I swear. And then I'm also just going in with a bit of my Maybelline Big Shot Mascara and just finishing off the eyes. I don't know, I just can't do a look without at least putting some mascara on. It would just be weird otherwise. And then that is kind of it for the face. I'm looking gorge. So I'm just going to go and put on my wig on and everything, and I will be right back. So this is the look all done, you guys. I've got my blonde wig on and I've got these little headpieces just to finish it all off. I really, really love how this turned out. It did take me a little a little while, sweet time, but I'm really, really happy with how it looks. So if you did like this as well, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I make a video every single week, and next week will be another Halloween tutorial. So I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Bye!